Good morning, dear listener of Agape FM. This is The Art of Building a Healthy Marriage with Pastor Khaya Sodladla. I am Unwabisa Megela, and I will be your host today, stepping in for John. And I'm sitting across, if you're tuning online, I'm sitting across with Pastor Sodladla of the show, and you know that I get quite excited when we talk about marriage and love and everything. So reading his bio, Pastor Ps Sodladla is a designated marriage officer, and he together with his wife Zimkita Sodladla are pastored at His Grace Tabernacle in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. They are both passionate about ministering to singles and married couples. Over the years, through the local radio program directed at married couples, they used to host in the small South African frontier town in Alba North, Christian counseling programs, and through their local church's couple ministry, they have impacted and revived many ailing marriages. They are blessed with 3 wonderful children, Gift, Lidwala and Ntando, and they make Port Elizabeth, South Africa their home. Pastor Sodladla is an author as well of The Art of Building a Healthy Marriage and the Marriage Reset Button. Pastor, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Nobisa, and you?
I am well, thank you. So, what are we talking about today? Where are we focusing on today?
Thank you very much. I heard that you are excited when we talk about marriage and love. So we'll talk about love today. Those who tuned in last week, you will remember that we spoke about, we dealt with the topic of when love, runs out. How do you rekindle the love in marriage? So it's about John chapter 2, the marriage in Cana. And that was our approach. And we were saying that when you get married, there's an in-love phenomenon. There's a phenomenon that is there to kickstart the lovers into, the reason that this guy can work himself out, don't sleep, day in and day out, putting together a lobola and all the budgets for the marriage. And these guys are doing everything they can to make sure this thing happens. It is because the in-love phenomenon is kicking them into gear. They do things that in the normal and the natural would not be able to do because they are driven by love. I normally say when I talk to couples, like, they are driven by love. They do things. I remember myself 17 years ago when I was, head over heels in love with my dear wife, who was my fiancée then. I mean, I think again, okay, did I really do that? All right, that's interesting. So that's what love does. So we talked about, people come in 2 to 3 years, the in-love phenomenon phases out. And that's when you've got to learn how to love, how to rekindle, how to keep on rekindling the love in marriage, because many people divorce. Not necessarily because of anything much, but because they feel as if they no longer love one another. There's no longer spark in the marriage. There's no longer the kick that, remember when they came in, what brought them in was the excitement, the love feeling. When they miss that love feeling, when they miss something, and when they feel that they can no longer get it here, they want to go and get it outside.
True.
Now, today I want to speak about, it's a follow-up on that topic, the love in marriage. Maybe if I were to, give maybe a subheading of today's topic is what happens to love after marriage. That's a question in many couples' minds. And they will tell you stories, fairy tale stories of how they met, how they wooed each other, how they loved each other, how they, all these things that they would talk about. And for them, it was a fairy tale. And now all of a sudden they feel that the fairy tale is no longer there. And they miss that feeling. They miss that feeling, and because they miss that feeling, they feel that staying in this marriage without that feeling anymore is actually is actually delaying them, or is actually depriving them of experiencing that feeling again. And they feel that if they leave this marriage, they might find that feeling again, not knowing that you can rekindle that feeling. Now, love, generally, because of the world we live in, materialistic world, the world that is so much into selling, so much into, commercializing everything, I feel that love has been overstated in marriage. And not just overstated, but it has been diluted. And therefore, I feel that we need to redefine what love is. Because people comes into marriage, if you come with an erroneous, concept of love, and you get into marriage expecting to reap out of that erroneous marriage, obviously you're going to be disappointed. And many people are not only disappointed, but they are hurt because they feel that, they have been robbed into getting married and they are not getting what they are looking for. I don't know if you have ever had the feeling of going into a restaurant that you're not familiar with. If you're like me, my wife will tell you I'm very adventurous. So you go to this restaurant and you see this, they've got these big words that they use for their gourmet meals, and they say something a la carte, and they mention these big words, and you feel, wow, it's a big word. And now here you are, you want to impress your friends, and you look for the most complicated word to pronounce, and you call for that thing. And your friends are calling the things that they know, and the things that they know they will enjoy. And they come. When yours come, you look, okay, I'm not even sure what this is. I remember my friend one time was very hurt because he ordered this meal in this restaurant. We're together. It was more like chips and a cheese on top.
And the word was big.
I looked at his face and I was laughing at it. And we're having our big meals, the meat and all this. And I could see this guy when he was eating this, it was terrible. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes when you buy something, you spend your money on it, and you had a choice to get something better. When you are eating that, you feel you feel, ouch, how did I not get that one? And now because I've got this one, I can't get that one. There are people who are married who feels that like they have been duped into getting married, thinking that they were in love, and when they feel they are no longer in love, they feel that they've been duped into buying into this marriage thing, and they resent it. The problem is not necessarily the marriage, but the problem is their concept of what love is. So that is why I think that it's important today, because sometimes if you understand what love is, you will know what to order before you get married. You will know what to look for in marriage. Don't look for something that is not there, because remember, if I know what to expect, I will give you what you expect. So if you get these two people who have got the erroneous concept of love, and this one will act as if they have what you are looking for, and then this one will be attracted to what they think is love, and this one is acting what they think is love. Amen. They're acting what they think is love, and while they do that, when they get married, you can only act for so long.
True.
when the titles go up the screen and the movie is over, the reality starts.
True.
And then that's where the problem is. So, Nobisa, let's go. Maybe for today, let's go to the very basics of what love is. And I think that the best place to start is trying to trace the history of the First Testament Bible. Paul speaks about love there. We all know 1 Corinthians 13, where Paul speaks about what love is and what love is not. Maybe even though we might not have time, allow me to just quickly go through that scripture on what love is. Paul, when he defines love, he says, 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1, though I speak with the tongues of men and angels and have no love, I am but as a resounding brass and tinkling cymbal. In other words, I'm just making noise if I don't have love. And then it goes on to say, it goes on to say, and though I may have gifts of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have faith so that I could remove mountains and have no and I have no love, I'm nothing. It says, and though I may bestow all goods and feed good, even if I can do good things and feed the poor and give my body to be burned, give my organs, give my blood for those who need it, if I can give everything, but if I don't have love, I'm still like a resounding sound. So love is really important. It says, what then? Verse 4, start explaining what love is. Love suffers long. In other words, love is patient. Love is kind. Number 3, love, love envieth not. And love, ventureth not itself. It's not proud. It's not puffed up. It does not show itself to be more important. It's not selfish. It rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. I wish I could get a better version. Let me see if I can quickly get a better version, because this one is a bit complex. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not selfish or self-seeking. It is not easily angered. In other words, the tolerance of love is very big. Even if I don't get angry easily because I love you. It covers a multitude of sin. It does not dishonor others, and so on and so on. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes for the better, always perseveres. It never fails. Hallelujah. And so on. So this is just the glimpse of how the Bible sees or expects love to be like. Now, when you look at that, maybe if God gives us time as we go, we'll start dissecting, those characters of love and try to compare the love we know in marriage or the love we expect in marriage. How much of that love, correspond? How much of that love, agrees with what the Bible says? Because the Bible says, if we talk about love, the Bible says God does not have love, but God is love. So if there's anybody who can teach us about love, it's love himself.
True.
So whatever is not there, it means something is not there. We used to sing a song that says, Uthando lwabantu luncane, 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 but olukaThixo lungaka. It's big. In other words, man, the love of man is small and is limited. But the love of God is big. It is unending. So in other words, therefore, when we talk today, I need us to take some time and agree. What is love? What is this thing called love? If we can touch and agree and understand that in this radio show today, I think that we would have achieved something to help the couples to understand what should be love in marriage. I'm going to take today 4 words. The Bible, the Second Testament, was written in Greek, which means the Greek context and culture of the Bible is taken from the Greek culture or the Greek understanding. Now, when you talk about love, when you talk about the Greek language, it's a very rich language. It is a way of being very, definitive in the words that it uses. It chooses the words, and the words it uses are very definitive. In other words, if you look at one word that we use one word to define one thing, the Greek language can have many words that are extremely definitive to explain. Now, when I talk about love now, what do I mean? For example, let's talk about love. When you talk about love in our language, let's say Xhosa. In Xhosa, when I talk about love, love is love for everything. I say I love, I even it's better with English because there's like and love.
Yes.
But with Xhosa, like and love is the same thing. For example, if I look at ice, I say I love ice cream. In the same way, I say I love my wife. I love my dog. I love rice. I love going to the beach. I love, studying maths with so and so. So love, these words are not very definitive. You find that you can refer to something using the same way, but with the Greek language, it's a very definitive one. For today, there are many, words that are used for love in Greek, but for today, we're just gonna choose 4. Because they are more connected to what I want to explain today. And these 4 Greek words I want to deal with today because I want a married person out there to understand. Now, please understand why. Is it okay to call you Nwai?
Yes.
That's good. Now I feel that we are more familiar. now, there are 4 words that I want us to look at today. The first one is agape. That's the first one, which is the God kind of love. The second one is storge. Storge, which is, the mother to son or the parent to child relationship. The third one, it is philia. Philia, which is the friendship love. And the last one is eros, which is romantic love. So I want us today, by the grace of God, to look at all these 4 Greek words and try to understand when we talk about love in marriage, how do they fit in? How do they feature? How should they feature in our marriage? Because all of them should feature. Others more than others, but they should feature. And unfortunately, we normally look at the last one, which should feature the less, which is eros, which is the romantic love. Now, Nobisa, what I was going to say is, but John knows I talk. Once I talk about marriage, I enjoy talking about marriage. I'm not very talkative, out there. But if you put me on a platform to talk on marriage, I'm very passionate. I just keep like you have pressed a button and I just keep going. So please, if you want to come in, please don't feel free to interject.
No, I'm loving this conversation. I'm loving how you actually put it with love and marriage, because you're speaking to married couples and you're also speaking to the singles.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm learning. I am learning,
yes.
and I did mention that when it comes to love and marriage, I get very excited to listen. So,
that's good. That's super. No, I hope that you learn something. And I hope that when that Prince Charming comes over, before he sweeps you over, you check. Is this what I am looking for? Sure. Is this the love I'm looking for? So let's look at that. Now, the first one is agape. I said agape, it is the God kind of love. Or you can say it's a sacrificial love. When I talk about this love, I have a picture of somebody bowing down to serve. God, the most definitive scripture of this, of this kind of love is John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave. That's love. So this love of God was shown by His giving. So when you love somebody, you must be willing to sacrifice for them. That's the God kind of love. Generally, men knows this kind of love. Even though sometimes they might lie, but you hear a man saying, I'll die for you. And you wonder if this guy can really die for this woman. But he feels that kind of love, the agape, is the one that pushes them to say things like those. And others will say that Tengeli train is an sporious bonella. This guy feels that he can buy the whole train for this girl. He does not have the money. But he feels if he has to, he can go to the moon and back to get the train for the girl.
So it's the feeling behind it.
It's the feeling behind it. This poor thing can't even buy himself a bicycle. But because love is there, he feels, if I have to, I can buy you a train. At least would have started with a bicycle, or at least, started with a small car. So I'm gonna buy you a polo, girl, and then you will see how you get your license or the tires. But this guy talk about a train. Because there's this thing in him that says, I'm willing to sacrifice. Now, when you come to marriage, the problem is many of the love relationships and marriages today are, they are characterized by selfishness. If people get into marriage, say, what do I get out of this? Now, the agape kind is nothing but selflessness. It's about sacrificing, and when you have that kind of selflessness, you're not expecting to get anything back. You're just expecting to give. It's a giving kind of love. It's a sacrificial kind of love. When I marry my wife, I am there to give of myself. I am there to say, what can I do for you? How can I make you happy? How can I make you comfortable? How can I build the best marriage for you? That's how I love my wife. And what fulfilled God was his sacrificing for mankind. Not because we deserve it. Not because he was going to get anything in return. He so loved the world, not expecting, a return from that. He was not like the people today, there was a lady or there was a mother who was fighting with a girl child, with a child who was a girl, and saying, no, my child, you must get married now. Because you have been going to these kitchen parties and giving gifts after gifts, it's time now for gift to come back to us.
True. That's what happens.
So that when this person, even girls, when they go to these kitchen parties, it's like they're investing. I'm giving you now this. Now you must know this is what I'm giving you. When I get married, remember, it's coming back. It's payback time. So that's not agape kind of love. Agape is sacrificial not because you expect to get something else. It's sacrificial because you give, because you love. The real God kind of love is the kind that gives expecting nothing. Is the kind that makes you happy when you sacrifice and do something for someone. That love is very key in any marriage. If that love is not there, it is that marriage is full of selfishness. And nothing will ever stand out of selfishness. Because at some point, people that are selfish, they're always out to deposit.
True.
At some point, the deposits will run dry. If you always deposit, some of us today are happy because we have bank cards. In my bank card, when I go and withdraw money, it tells me how much I withdrawn and how much is remaining.
Yes.
Are you getting this? And if you, and it also tells you on your phone. But if you don't know, before I use money, for me, I have a card that I normally use as a savings that I use to. So what my wife, I used to have this probably a lot, especially some few years ago. I would spend the money on the card and don't look at the balance. And my wife stopped going with me to the shop because I would embarrass her.
Decline.
So when I get there, the card declines. Not that I don't have money. So I would have to stand now back and start with exchanging, filling the card again, which means the money is there. It's just that I was careless not to look. I kept on withdrawing until there was nothing to withdraw anymore. The balance was zero. When you get married and all you do is withdraw, you get something out, you don't sacrifice to put something in. One day, you're going to run out. So people that don't have agape love are just withdrawers, but they don't deposit anything. Sure. And it's not going to be long before that love runs out and it becomes empty. When it gets empty, trouble starts because you have nothing to withdraw. So you must have this kind of love. The second kind of love is what is called storge. Storge is what we call the parental love. It is a love of a parent to a child. It's a family love. It's a love of parent or a child to a parent and so on. You don't choose, you don't choose family relationships.
True.
I didn't choose to have my 3 children. Or I chose to have them, but I did not choose them. I could have had you as my child. I could have somebody else as my child, my neighbor's child as my child. But God chose them for me. And therefore, they never chose to be my children.
True.
If they could, maybe they could have been a child to Motsepe or someone who was a billionaire or millionaire or who was, famous. But God chose them for. So what? Now that we are here, I'm obligated to love them. I love my children unconditionally. That's a parental love. A parent will love a child even when the child is unlovable.
Oh.
That's a parent.
Oh.
There are children that are just unlovable. And you wonder, how does this parent live with this child? But they love them. Look at a grandmother whose child was a drug addict, whose child was hated by the whole community. Nobody wanted to get close to them. And when this guy comes back high, he would chase this poor old mother with a knife around the house. But when the child dies, the mother will be the first one to cry tears. And why? Because they have this unconditional love. And you hear them say, Ndanam, a child has no dustbin.
True.
That's unconditional love. That kind of love loves you whether you do something or not. That kind of love is not conditional. It is not dependent on what you do for them. The love of men today is conditional. That is why when somebody says to you, I love you, most people start doubting because love has been so abused.
True. Because
love has been used to get something out of you. So it's conditional, and then I love you. And then when you cannot provide what they want, I had a situation that happened to me a few years ago. I bought an item, electrical item, from a shop that they called him my friend. So I also called him my friend. So whenever I would go there, my friend would be so nice to me. Hello, my friend. What do you want today, my friend? What do you want me to do for you? So I bought this item from my friend. So when this item broke down within a week, I thought that my friend is my friend. Therefore, my friend, based on the love of being a friend to him, he will understand and help me out. So I took the item back, and then I told him my problem, and then he said, no, I'm sorry, my friend, I can't do anything. So, but how can you not say, no, my friend, you're not my friend, my friend. So my being friend to him, I was a friend as long as he was benefiting from me. When it's time for him to help me, he's no longer there. So he is going to love me. Many young women are suffering from the lack of this kind of love.
True.
If you don't sleep with me now, I can't continue in this relationship. Because that means you don't love me. Because this means this poor thing is loved because she can provide. If she says, no, I'm principled, I can't do this, and then he'll go and look for others. So he was not looking for you in the first place. It was conditional based on that you give me this. You getting this? Now there are girls or there are guys who are complaining that if you are not carrying a car key, and this car key has got to be a particular type of a key. If you are not carrying that key, or if you were carrying the key for your brother, and you have found out that the key was not yours, they leave you there in the drive.
The condition.
It's conditions. As long as you have the car, as long as you can provide, you can do a hairstyle for me, you can buy me jeans, you can do this. You can provide a particular lifestyle for me, then I'll love you. Some of them, they're called slay queens. It's bad. But as long as you don't do these things for me, then that means I cannot continue loving you. That was not love. That is not. So in marriage, I've got to love my wife even when I don't feel like it. And she's stuck with me. She's got to love me even when she does not feel like it, because she made a vow that in good times and in bad times, in health and in sickness, in lack and in plenty, she committed to love me all the days of our lives until death do us apart. He committed before God, before people that were in our wedding. Therefore, when she does not feel like it, she still has to love me. So it's a commitment issue. Are you getting this? So when people are married, they should not just be driven by feelings, because we have downgraded love into just feelings.
True.
But love is also a commitment. I'm committed to love you even when I don't feel like loving it. I'm committed to love you even when you don't deserve my love. That is why in our home we call each other these endearment, words like sweetie and lovey. And we call each other those words even when we are not happy with each other. I can't change now and say, I Zimkita, I can't answer you. Zimkita is my, say, lovey, I don't like what. Because when I say lovey, it reminds me that even though I might not be happy with them, but I am committed to still call them lovey. It reminds me that even when they are not, even if my wife, no, I know that this is impossible. My wife is a very good cook. I normally say to people, I'm not just like this because PE loves me. It's because my wife does a good job in the kitchen. That is why I have to work harder in the gym to try and compensate. But I'm not there. but let's say if my wife was not a very good cook, and she has not done it, maybe she has put too much salt in the food, and I'm not happy with it, I say, love. When I'm about to say something hurtful, I remember, love. I think you were a bit generous on the salt today. When she responds, the love that I've started with reminds her this person loves me first. So we are committed to love one another when we don't feel like it. In marriage, you don't always feel like loving every time. Believe me, you have been married for only 17 years. I'm still going to my 60th anniversary and more. But in marriage, once you have been married for longer, there are times that you wake up and you don't feel like loving this person based on whatever is happening. But you still love them even more than you love them when you felt like it. Because you are committed. That's touch. It's not conditional. It's something that is a commitment. The next one, please remember I said if you want to interject, feel free to do so.
I am learning. I am excited.
That's
everything you're saying is just, it's there. These are things that are happening. So please do continue.
That's super. Now, what happens is when you look, therefore, the third one I want to deal with is Phyllis. All these kinds, today we're just introducing, because when we talk about love in marriage, you've got to know what we are talking about. We've got to understand what we are dealing with. If Phyllis is the friendship kind of love. It is the friendship that you find among friends. This kind of friendship is non-judgmental. This kind of friendship is a friendship that you can relax and be yourself. It is a comfortable relationship. It's a relationship that you look forward to be together. You enjoy each other's company. You can open up to each other. You are free to be yourself in front of this person. When you are married, you have got to have that level of relationship. For us, me and my wife, we, even when we just got married, remember for us, it's even more difficult because we are so used to being serious as pastors. We are both pastors, we are both ministers, and people, our lives together as ministers, I think our second year was starting a ministry in a small town where everybody knew us that we were pastors. You know, literally everybody from all races. You could go anywhere. They knew we're pastors. Our church was in town, and you know, yeah, we did a lot of things in the town, so we're known. Therefore, it sort of unintentionally, the pastoral mode. You are always on a pastoral mode. If you drive in the car in the street, you are in a pastoral mode. If you are walking to the shop, you are in a pastoral mode because you know that everybody looks and regards you. What also brought me into sober, what brought soberness in my mind was two things that happened. I'm mentioning this for a purpose. I'm driving my car. In other words, there are only two robots. You know, 1, 2, yeah, two robots. And the traffic is always low, so you get to be impatient with traffic because you are not used to traffic like we have in PE. So I'm driving my car, and pastors, they say they're always in a rush. I'm rushing for an appointment in my office at church, and then there are these little girls, these young girls that are walking, girls walking, and they are, posing in the street and walking like giraffes. And here I am, I'm saying, but can't they see I'm on the road? The robots are open, and they're gonna close. And I want to say something. I'm so fuming inside. And then when I was about to, when I held my peace, I allowed them to pass, and then I drove slowly. And then I heard them, "Hello, Pastor." And I thought, if I responded in a negative way, a pastoral image will be tarnished in those little girls' minds. The second one is a mother who is attending a church. She is a little girl, young girl. The mother was a district director, I think, of that department, or of a particular government department. So she was always going around the region. So she might not have been there every Sunday, but whenever she could, she was always attending. So this girl, we used to see whenever the mother, they would go there maybe twice a month or once a month, depending on her schedule. So she sees me a Pick and Pay. And then she tells the mother who was not there and says, "Mama, I saw Jesus today."
Ooh.
And I think, if I do anything wrong in the mind of that little child, Jesus would have faltered. So it made me say, I've got to always be careful. So this generally put this pastoral mode in me that also almost made me serious. And I had to remind myself that to my wife, I'm not a pastor. I am not just a husband, but I must be intentional to be a friend. I must therefore be intentional to be playful. A couple that is playful is crucial. When you love your spouse, don't always be serious. Be playful. Learn to play together. We used to take a lot of outings. We'd go out for holidays, just me and my wife. We'll go out. When we go out to whatever place, sometimes we'll come to PE or go to Durban or wherever we go, or go to Beggasto, which is only 60 km away from Alwa North. When we get there and we feel that nobody knows us, we'll go to the beach, and then we'll chase each other, throw sand on each other, play with each other, fall down. Even at home, children, they know. Sometimes we play in the bedroom by ourselves. They go, "What's happening?" Dad and Mama playing. So we are friends. And therefore, this makes it easy for us to be open to each other. The Bible says they were both naked and not ashamed. In other words, emotionally, these people were open up. You are not afraid that you're going to be judged. When you have this friendship love, you are not judgmental. Friends understand each other easier. Friends are easy. True friends, when you are doing something wrong, they will correct you. They will not pretend you.
True.
So you can just be yourself, and they will not judge you. They want the best for you. So there must be that kind. You are not competitors in marriage. You are there to complete each other. You are there, to bring the best out of each other. So when therefore you have got to know that, you've got always to have this kind of love. The Phyllis kind of love. We are friends. My first friend, before I have all the other friends, my first friend is my wife. And her first friend is me. It does not mean we should not have other friends outside the marriage. But my wife should not feel more comfortable to go and open up to somebody else. And they cannot to me because I'm going to judge them. True. Or what am I going to think? What I'm going to say about them? They are getting me. So there must be that kind of Phyllis kind of love. So Nobisa, let's look back again. Let's retrace. What did we talk about? We talk about the importance of us again redefining love in marriage because it has been so misrepresented. True. People have got an erroneous concept of what love is, and not just in marriage, but generally. A parent today, when a child says, "Yo, you know what? I love Makaba. I love you so much." What is your clan name, if I may ask? Is that so? Umasocho. Oh, my daughter, izochokazi. Ento zakhe. You know, I was raised by Utatu Zocho. Ubamfunzi Mahlasela was my grandfather. So, you know, Ozocho, but by strict. Anotando, but yo, babodabo, by strict. You know, but you know, so Ubumtanuza, let's say you have a child. And the child says, you know, Sochokas, there's no mother like you. I love you so much. And then the first thing that comes, your heart pumps. True. You say, what do you want?
True, you feel like there's some sort
there's
of...
something
is
tell me what
True.
you want. You know, because we have been conditioned that love has been used as a secret code to get something from us. So love has been misrepresented. We've got again to relearn what love is. So we are talking about 4 kinds of love. Already we spoke about agape, the God kind of love, sacrificial love. Number 2, we spoke about storge, which is the family love or the unconditional love. And lastly, for now, we have already spoken about philia, which is we call the familiar love. Let me give you some time if you want to say anything, comment, or ask any question before I continue.
On the live, Peter Ordinary is saying amazing. He's watching. He is right there. He's saying amazing, exclamation marks. Oh, wow. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm saying wow, wow, wow. And I'm amazed because I never thought that there would be, as much as we see these kind of love, but I've never sat down and actually thought they are different, but as much as they're different, but you need to have all these love. Yeah. Or if I can put they're different, but they form one love. So now I'm learning, like I said, I'm learning. And I'm walking out this room knowing very well, Koti, with love, with all these type of lives. At the end of the day, God is the love. And you need those love, and you need God in your life to be the campus of your life.
That's so powerful. I think the last part you said is very key. That you, without God, if the Bible says God is love, true, you cannot say you have love if you don't have God.
True.
So if you want to have love in your marriage, you must therefore prioritize having God. Because if God is with you, you have love. If you don't have God, you don't have love. True. I think that's the key. You know, that's the key. That's the main thing. In the last 8 minutes or so that we have, allow me to tackle the last one, which is eros. Eros, whenever people talk about love in marriage, this is the one, they don't know all the others, but this one is the one they think is the key love, and yet is the least of all the love you should have. Eros is the romantic love, or it is the love based on feelings. You know, it is the feeling love. It's how it's when the chemicals in you are activated to feel something. Now, it's very crucial You know, you've got to be romantic. You've got to be romantic. As a husband, I've got to be romantic. And as much as I have agape, as much as I have storge, as much as I have philia, but I've got to be romantic to my wife. But this also is a kind of love that, if not directed properly, it can lead the marriage into the worst of problems, because it can easily be abused. It can easily be misguided. It can easily cause more problems, because this kind of love is based on feelings. And feelings are very, they are, what's this word I'm looking for? They are very, if in lack of that good word, they are very uncontrollable. You can't really, you can't really put them. They have a mind of their own. So you've got to always be ahead of them. Feelings depends on happenings.
True.
Feelings depends. You want to be happy. The main goal of feelings is chasing of happiness. I want that happy feeling. If it does not make me happy, then I'm not interested. But the problem with happiness, it depends on happenings. On what is happening at that moment. If the train or the driver of your marriage love is feelings or eros, that means your love is in trouble. Because when happenings are not happening the way you want them to happen, you will not be happy. And when you are not happy, the feelings will not be there. When the feelings are not there, the love is not there. If all you do is to chase after happiness, you will chase after happenings. And sometimes happenings can lead to outside your marriage. I hope I'm making sense.
That is deep. That is just deep.
People that, because let me tell you something. Life is, it's got seasons.
True.
Just like the years and the times we live have got seasons. There are seasons that we have. That is why when I do premarital counseling programs, I always encourage those who get married that please don't get married before you have done the proper premarital counseling. Because it helps you to understand what you are getting into. Because many people get married with excitement. But I always ask them a question. Why are you getting married to this person? I should hear the answers. I want to, because this person always makes me laugh, and I'm thinking inside, why don't you marry a comedian? It'll make you laugh all the time.
All the time.
Because it's too much to ask for somebody to make you laugh every day.
True.
That means if this person cannot make you laugh anymore, that means you look for somebody else who will make you laugh.
It's gonna make you laugh.
That's depending on how you feel. I am funding. I say, no, the things that they say, it depends on what makes them happy. But when you get married, it should be beyond happiness. It should be love that says, you know what? I have a commitment to love you. I have a commitment to sacrifice for you. My love for you is unconditional. I'm feeling, if you make me feel happy, praise the Lord. I'm also committed to be romantic, to make you feel happy. But if I cannot make you feel happy, it's not the end of the day. I still have 3 other loves that are going to be able to carry us through until we are happy again. Are you getting what I'm saying? So if, therefore, people are looking more on feelings, being made to feel good. The problem with that is when there are things happening in your marriage, it might not have anything to do necessarily with what the other is doing. It might be the circumstances around you. Circumstances, look, for example, now, we're living in, right now, the rate of divorce has just skyrocketed around the COVID season because people are going through things. People are going through things that are making them unhappy. And therefore it rubs off, because if you're unhappy, therefore you feel as if you cannot offer love anymore. Because you're not feeling as if you can love. People have lost jobs. People have lost their livelihoods. People have lost businesses in this time. People have lost their loved ones. And therefore, many marriages are suffering right now because people, they are feeling that they are devoid of being romantic. They are devoid of eros. They cannot feel any love. They feel as if they cannot give any love. They are empty because their love is fed by what is happening. If what happening is good, praise the Lord. These people are going to be lovey-doveys. They will love you to heaven and earth. But when they don't feel like it, they are like two people one day. When they are on the moon, you know you're going to be loved that day. But when things are not favorable, you know that this person, they don't even want to talk to you. So when you are married, you need eros in marriage. You need to be romantic. You need to love this person. You need to make them feel good. I mean, for me, I know that it's my commitment to love my wife, take my wife out, do the romantic things, love her to a point that her head spins. You know, I must make her feel so good that she's married to me. But that is not the end of the day. If for some reason I cannot be romantic, maybe because of what we are going through at that season, I'm able to still give her the agape. I'm able to still give her the philia. I'm still able to give you the philia is what will make me talk to her and say, hey, my love, you know what? At this moment, I feel so down. Because I'm a friend, I'm able to open up to her. I feel so down and so low. I don't feel like doing 1, 2, 3 as I normally do, but she will understand and she will love me on that level and we are still fulfilled. But if you don't have all the others, you only have this one. When this one is under pressure, the other one, the whole thing will collapse.
Speaking on the eros kind of love, John Lingeju is asking, many people suffer from abusive relationships in marriage, both verbal, emotional, and physical. How does love get rekindled again in such a scenario, especially when the guilty part is unwilling to amend their ways?
You know, when you are looking at that, it's an unhealthy situation. But sometimes, for example, it's not supposed to be like that. But when you deal with marriage, it's bigger than a person. The main thing here is to fight for your marriage. Sometimes you might feel they are the one that is wronged. Sometimes you feel as if, justice should be done. This person must apologize to me. Why should I be the one who does something to save this marriage? But listen, it's bigger than both of you. So you need to be a bigger person. What I normally do, therefore, I normally help the one willing spouse, even if it's the abused one, to say to them, okay, why don't you look at the first two loves? The first one is agape, sacrificial. You love somebody not expecting them to love you back. You love them not expecting them to apologize. You love them not expecting them to love you back. But you still love them. It's sacrificial. You give yourself into this thing. I'm not saying be abused. Please understand that. Number 2, it is the storge. Unconditional love. You don't love this person because they have not spoken abusive words to you. You love them because you have committed to love them. What is happening with love? It's reciprocal. It's got this, reciprocal reaction. It's echoing. Love is very echoing. When you give out love has a way of bouncing back to you. True. If you bounce your love on somebody, even if they might not respond first, but there's gonna be a time that they will respond back by love. So what I normally help the couple with, use tools to help them love the spouse, in the unlovable spouse, the undeserving spouse. We help them to love them until they catch up and are able to reciprocate the love back.
Now this is the unconditional love that you
exactly
spoke about.
That's in action now. That's putting that's not just theoretical. You make it practical.
I love you. I keep saying I love, and we're speaking more about the loving. And Pastor Khaya, let me say today my mind is blown away. my knowledge is now broadened about love. Because remember, we also spoke about in Xhosa there's love, there's just love, which is in English it's more of saying like and love.
Yes.
And now Greek is actually broadening it and how love is. And I wish we could continue this. I wish we could continue this and have more and more and more and more of these conversations. But I know for a fact that next Tuesday you are here.
Definitely.
Next Tuesday we are having another mind-blowing session about marriage and building a healthy marriage. And to the singles that are still looking into marriage, it is, for me personally, this is one session that I would not miss. And these are the sessions that we need to know and we need to learn more about. Pastor Khaya, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I think to the listeners, just to reiterate what Nwai has said, next week, 10 o'clock, we continue. What happens to love after marriage? And what should you look for before you get married? When you talk about love. So we're going to talk more on that. We'll continue that topic. But also, I would love to take some time next week, Saturday. Oh, no, this week on the 20th.
20th, yes.
On the 20th, I've got good news. We are building healthy marriages. It's going to be in Alwa North. So those listening, I can see on my WhatsApp group that those listening from Alwa North and the surrounding areas, Queenstown, please don't miss next week. We are going to be in Alwa North on the 20th at His Grace Tabernacle. It's hosting Building Healthy Marriages at 5 p.m. Please make sure that you join us there. We are talking about a healthy minds equals healthy marriages. We did the same topic here in Boardwalk. The response was amazing. Even more good news. His Grace Tabernacle here in Port Elizabeth is sponsoring a couple's closing functions on the 5th of December. We are going to announce the venue, but guess what? It's for free. His Grace Tabernacle has, sponsored the program. All you need to do, we're going to be going to a restaurant. All you need to do is to just buy your own plate. You don't give us a cent. When you get there, everything will be paid, but at least we're going to give you the menu, and then we're going to buy your own meal. Not even give to us, give it directly to the restaurant, and that you're going to be eating yourself and your spouse. Otherwise, it's going to be a great time. I'm going to give you details as we go on.
Oh, dear listener. And if you are tuning in right now, if you're listening to this, this is a great opportunity. And do tune in and follow His Grace Tabernacle Church, because this is not to make
and
missed.
The art of building His Grace Tabernacle Church, or the art of building a healthy marriage. Facebook pages is His Grace Tabernacle PA Metro. Yes.
And the art of building a healthy marriage is giving a retreat.
We are giving a couple's closing function. Just a time to just go out and feel elegant with your spouse. Go to a restaurant, have a great Sunday afternoon together, great meal. But I myself will be the speaker of the day.
A day to be elegant. A
day to just go out there and enjoy yourselves as a couple as we close and say, you know what? It's been an interesting 2021. COVID-19 notwithstanding issues, but guess what? We are still here. We are still married. Let's go and celebrate. But let's see what God is saying to our marriages as we close.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. And do remember that on the 20th, this coming Saturday at 5 p.m. In our North, Pastor Khaya Sodladla and the church building the art of building healthy marriages will be at our North, His Grace Tabernacle in our North. Please do not miss out. Please be there. I myself will be there in spirit.
And guess what? Singles and married couples are invited in Alwa North.
Ooh.
But unfortunately, I didn't think of you as the singles here in P. I don't know why on the 5th of December.
Ooh.
But Alwa North singles, and so you really would be. Don't you want me to put you in our boot in a bag?
Hey, we'll be there. We want to be there. We want to be there. I mean, remember, because myself as a single, I'm sitting here right now and I'm learning so much. And going into marriage, I feel like whoever was going into marriage and you found your one, then this is the time. So be it in Our North, be you in a couple, a married couple, come in December, there is just a closing for couples. So thank you so much for those events, and thank you so much for being the vessel of God. And thank you also for coming through. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, the time now is 5 minutes past 11.
It
is. It is. You are still tuning in at Agape FM with the program, The Art of Building a Healthy Marriage with Ps Khaya Sodladla. I am Unobi Sambekela, and this is again Agape FM, bringing the gospel nearer to you. Today we're speaking on the love in marriage. Pastor did mention that love envieth not, love is not proud, and love is not selfish. And I love the fact that you mentioned that love is about commitment and not the feeling. Because the feeling is it comes and goes sometimes.
Definitely.
So, dear listener, today we're leaving you with that. And let me tell you today that later on today at 1 o'clock, we are having Build Your Business. No, Have You What It Takes. Oh, my apologies about that. Have You What It Takes at 1 o'clock with John. So please do tune in. And if you're tuning live, once again, Zimkita. Oh,
that's my wife.
I was about to say that the wife is saying, great program, love. There we go again, love. I am so privileged to be married to you. Thank you.
So I'm not talking my things here, so my wife can confirm.
Yes. Thank you so much, dear listener. I am Unobi Sambekela. This is Agape FM, bringing the gospel nearer to you. Leaving you now is Fallen Light, saying greater than yesterday. Goodbye.